Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the evening edition of Goldie Gamari Show, the Goldie Show. Great to see you all here. Thank you so much for joining me. Wait, why is my style all different here? It's so weird. Okay, there we go. Wait. How do I fix that? Okay, there we go. I don't know. Guys, honestly, so I really apologize. I've been having some major technical issues with StreamYard today. Um, I was working on a video about the foiled Islamic terrorist plot in Canada, right? I woke up to the news of jihad in Canada, and I tried to make a video about it, and it literally took me like four tries because every single time that I would make my video, the audio just for some reason wasn't working. So I've been having like technical difficulty situations today, and as you could tell, like even the my name here was all weird, but I just fixed it now. So thank you everyone so much for your patience. Big shout out to the mods, big shout out to the subscribers, and of course, a big shout out to all of my channel members. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting me. Um, and honestly, I have to say that I am incredibly overwhelmed and humbled by all of your support, especially in the last 24 hours, where I complained and I did this rant about how YouTube is demonetizing all of my videos. They've demonetized some of my live streams, and the support that you have shown me is overwhelming, really. And I did appeal several decisions. Now, thankfully, I have been remonetized, but it's just frustrating because you upload a video, you put it out there, and really, the monetization comes in within sort of the first 24 hours, but when YouTube demonetizes your video right away until you appeal it, and then the appeal takes 24 hours, by the time the appeal goes through, um, your video has already sort of done the most, right? So like the vast majority of it happened sort of within the first 24 hours. So it's been incredibly frustrating, but the support that you guys have shown me is fantastic. So super humbled. Um, yeah, so I did notice that. I did notice that my video was hyped. I don't know what that is. Like what is a YouTube hype? I don't know, but um I'm just really grateful that you guys are really helping me spread the word. And yeah, like yesterday I woke up to seeing that my account reached 50,000, and then I woke up today and I was like, I'm already at 60,000. So again, like, thank you. Thank you so much. You guys are the reason that I'm continuing to do this, and I will continue to do this. Mort says he got the first hype on the video. Was that you? I don't know what a hype is, but thank you. I appreciate that. And I really do appreciate all of you helping me spread the word, and helping me get my message out there. And it was a bit of a struggle today because I'm telling you guys, I was having technical difficulty issues. I made this video about Islamic Jihad in Canada, and I had to like refilm it like four times because I was just having audio issues and I had no idea what was going on. Um, Oh, we have a starred message. Okay, so Wolfie Conservatives 911. Hi, I subbed from Australia. Big fan. Social media ban for everyone December 27th. Islamic extremists traveling from Melbourne to Bondi stopped by terrorism police. Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I mean, it's very scary to see this happening. I actually so that was the video that was demonetized, actually. Like I did a video yesterday where I was speaking about the foiled terrorist attack by Islamic terrorists, by these like Muslim men in Australia, and that was demonetized and then I appealed it, and now thankfully, it's back up and it's monetized again. But yeah, like it's just very frustrating how those who want to spread the truth are just constantly being attacked. Meanwhile, you have, these crazy conspiracy theorists like, Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, and they have like these huge platforms, and they make millions of dollars spreading all these conspiracy theories about the Jews controlling the world. Meanwhile, they claim that, Jews control the world, and everything is controlled by the Jews, and yet they can share that message, and they get millions of dollars off of those videos. But then when someone like me wants to talk about Islamic terrorism and jihad, my videos are demonetized, right? So um I'm just putting it out there because, yeah, like, the people who are actually spreading the truth are the ones who are constantly being demonetized. If Jews actually controlled the world, you would see Candace Owens or Tucker Carlson complaining about being demonetized, but they're not, right? Like, they're just putting out their garbage propaganda constantly, um, making money off of it. But then small accounts like mine, I'm the one that's being targeted. I'm the one that's being attacked. So just goes to show who's actually controlling the world. It's not the Jews. It's just like a crazy conspiracy theory. Um, Mordred, you do the world a service. People need to hear what you have to say. Keep it up. Thank you so much. I will. Like I said, I'm just getting started, and I have a lot more to talk about. So you're going to be seeing a lot more of me, and I just really appreciate all of your support. It really means a lot to me. It's really humbling, and it just lets me know that I'm on the right path and I'm on the right track. So thank you so much, guys. And that's why I do this, and that's why I really enjoy doing these live streams. So if you haven't checked my most recent video, it's there. You can go check it out afterwards. Um, Good evening from Somaliaville, Minnesota. Ooh, yeah, like, ooh, there's lots of problems in Somalia there. Somaliaville, Minnesota. I actually do have some thoughts on that, but I'm waiting to get more information from, US government before I make a video on that. So all right, let's get to the main topic of tonight's live stream. So I'm going to play some videos from one of my favorite people. This is Ridvan. Gosh, I feel terrible because I can't pronounce his last name properly. Ridvan Aydemir, also known as Apostate Prophet. Um, and he has been speaking out a lot about radicalism, about Islam. He is an ex-Muslim, so he, of course, knows way more about this stuff than me. We do follow each other on social media, and we have like connected and texted in the background. At some point, I will definitely bring him on my channel and have a conversation with him. Um, because he's fantastic. He's fantastic, and he's fearless. And for those of you who have been following me on my live streams for a while, you all know that during the days I focus more on Islamic extremism and terrorism, jihad, and then in the evenings it's a little bit chill, a little bit lighter, um, a little more just, casual. And it's just more of an opportunity for us to watch documentaries and learn something. So we're just gonna dive right in. And the first video, wait, let me pull it up here. So let me tell you what the first video is called. And you can actually find all of these videos on his YouTube channel. So let me just bring it up here. So we're literally just going to go through some of Apostate Prophet's videos. Okay, thank you so much. So Kobaka, please don't stop. You have a voice that most of us never will, and this evil needs to be exposed. Thank you so much. I will not stop. I'm just getting started, and I really do appreciate the support, guys. For those of you who don't know, I actually was a politician in Canada for 7 years. I was in politics for 10 years, and I was actually using my platform as a politician to raise awareness about Islamic terrorism and extremism. And that upset a lot of um, Muslim lobby groups. And so the National Council of Canadian Muslims accused me of Islamophobia because I was using my platform to raise awareness. So if you guys are wondering why your politicians don't speak out against jihad and radicalism and Islamic terrorism, is because they're afraid of being labeled as Islamophobic. Um, but you know, I'm from Iran, born in Iran. I have been speaking out against the Islamic dictatorship that has been occupying my birth country of Iran for the last 47 years. And so, like, I'm completely unapologetic when it comes to calling out radical Islam and jihad, because I'm hoping that at least I can use my experience as an Iranian to inform people in Canada, to inform people in the United States, to inform people around the world who are dealing with this Islamic jihadi problem. And, you know, guys, I'm going to say this. I could have, there are many politicians, including several, of my friends who are still in politics. Um, they know exactly what's going on. They could speak out about it, but the reason that they're not is because they value their careers as a politician more than speaking out and saying the truth. So, the reason that you don't hear politicians calling out Islamic terrorism and jihad is because they are worried more about their votes than they are about doing the right thing. Meanwhile, someone like me, um, I was like, I don't care. I will speak out. It might cost me my career as a politician, and that's exactly what happened. I was speaking out against radical Islamism. I was speaking out against jihad. I was speaking out against terrorism. And because I was calling out Islamic terrorism, the National Council of Canadian Muslims accused me of, Islamophobia, and then Doug Ford kicked me out of the Progressive Conservative Party. So there you go. Um, but you know what? That I'm totally okay with that, because um, I can look at myself in the mirror every day and I do not regret the decision that I made. I do not regret the fact that I used my platform to speak out and raise awareness. And I'm going to continue doing that. And I just appreciate all of you who are supporting me in the next step of my journey in fighting Islamic extremism and radicalism, because I don't, what happened in Iran, I don't want to see that happening in Canada or in the United States or anywhere else. And the fact that I'm not a politician anymore, it's kind of liberating, because now I can just say what I want to say and not be worried about being politically correct, right? Because I'm sick and tired of political correctness. I'm sick and tired of woke. I'm sick and tired of this, this progressive nonsense that diversity is our strength. No, diversity is not our strength, guys. Diversity is actually what is contributing to jihad and Islamic extremism in Canada and around the world. And again, the fact that literally in the last week, okay, so guys, in the last week alone, Islamic terrorist attack in Australia at Bondi Beach, the FBI foil a pro-Palestine Islamic terrorist attack in, California. Yesterday, more Muslim men in Australia were planning a second Islamic terrorist attack at Bondi Beach. And today, I guess the Islamic terrorists in Canada were feeling left out, because today we wake up to the news that Canadian police have foiled another Islamic terrorist attack, this one in Canada. So all of that literally within 1 week. Um, Truth matters. Thank you so much for speaking the truth. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for your support. I really, really do appreciate that. Again, like, you've humbled me. You are giving me the energy to continue, and you are really, like literally, you are just yeah, like, I'm so humbled. You guys are giving me the energy to continue, and I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. So, thank you so much. Um, Oh, oh my gosh, I have so many messages here. Okay, let me go to all these messages. So, Mort, have you heard of Michael Foucault? He's the Marxist that specifically enabled the jihadis. 100%. Oh yeah, oh, I've heard of him. Yep. Yep. In fact, one of the reasons that the Islamic dictatorship was successful in destabilizing our country and overthrowing our beloved Shah and turning Iran to 7th century Islamic hellhole was because of the unholy alliance between the red and the black. Red being the communists, and black, of course, being the Islamists. I've done actually a number of live streams about that, and if you guys are interested in learning more about what happened in Iran, okay, so let me pull this up on my channel so that you guys can go and take a look at these afterwards. So, if you go to my YouTube channel and you scroll down, you'll see that I have this playlist here called Iranians Rate Documentaries About Iran. And I basically go through publicly available documentaries on YouTube, and I talk about them, and I dispel the disinformation, and I talk about the real facts. So if you want kind of like an intro 101, definitely check out the first one that I did. So this is the one that has a score of 3 out of 10. And as you can tell, it's literally a 4-hour long live stream. The documentary itself was 1 hour, but I provided 3 hours of commentary. So at some point, definitely, go check that out. You can check out the other ones. You can check out the other ones as well. Again, here it is. But I will make a note of what you said, Mort, and I will happily make like a short form video about that, because you're absolutely right. History is repeating itself. And one of the things that I've been constantly saying is that when you're seeing all these woke, progressive, communist, Antifa, leftists in Western countries who are siding with the pro-Palestine Islamic jihadi terrorists, that's not by that's not by accident. Okay, it's not a coincidence. That's planned. And what you're seeing today, the destabilization in Western societies, that's exactly what happened to Iran in the 70s. And it was that unholy alliance of communism and Islamism that eventually was able to destabilize our country of Iran. But let me make a note of that before I forget. Video. Okay, sorry. Just want to make a note before I forget. So I will make a short video about that 100%. Thank you so much. Papa Wolf says, Goldie, Golsa, thank you for your strength and courage to continue speaking out. Much love and respect. Thank you so much. And I mean, yeah, guys, you can call me Goldie or you can call me Golsa. Makes no difference to me. Golsa is like my Persian name. And then my nickname is Goldie. So like I don't hide it or anything. And it's really funny because sometimes like, there are these random people and they're like, why are you hiding your name? Why is your name Goldie? And I'm like, it's literally a nickname, right? Like it's and anyone who speaks and reads Farsi, like if you just look at my title, right? Like if you look at my name, here, for example, so you can see this is Goldie Gamari, right? And then here, this is Golsar Amari. So like anyone who speaks Persian and anyone who reads Persian, like they literally see my name there. It's Golsa, right? But for some reason, there's like these weird conspiracy theorists and haters out there, and they're like, "Why are you hiding your name?" I'm like, "I'm not. Like, you can call me either one." So yeah, no, I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the support. And yeah, you can either call me Goldie, you can call me Golsa. Makes no difference to me. Both are my names. I go by both. All right, and I'll just little funny comment. Sometimes I troll my parents. So my name Golsa means like a flower. And sometimes like when I'm feeling spicy, I'll troll my parents and I'm like, why did you name me Golsa? You guys should have named me Kharsa because I'm more like a thorn. Because Khar means thorn, so I'm like, you should have named me Kharsa. Anyway, that's just a little like little joke there. So all right, but we are gonna get started now. So guys, grab a coffee or a drink or a water or whatever. For those of you who follow me on my evening live streams, you guys know that I drink bubblies. Or I guess in America they call it seltzers. So I have a seltzer is like what I usually do. It's a company called Bubbly, and tonight's flavor is, I don't know if you can see it. It's apple. So tonight I have an apple flavored carbonated water drink. So there you go. Maybe at some point Bubbly will reach out and want me to do a sponsorship, but probably not. Okay. So Abdi sent a super sticker. Thank you so much. I appreciate the support. Amir the cricket. Oh, Amir. So we appreciate the truth spread so much. Just makes sense to bring awareness around risks. I'm praying for your fame's grow. And thank you so much, Amir. Appreciate that. Sending you all my love and support. Happy Hanukkah and Yisrael Chai to you, and Shabbat Shalom as well. Okay, we're going to get started now. So Apostate Prophet, there's 3 videos that we're going to watch tonight, guys. So let's get settled in. The first video is called Europe is Falling to Islam. So let's just dive right in. Which one is that? Is it this one? Wait, let me just, wait. So here are the 3 videos. So the first one we're going to watch is called Europe is Destroying Islam and the West. So let me pull up the video here. I think it is...
Hello everybody and welcome. This is the Apostate Prophet. It's a wild day. I'm kind of breathing and taking a break because I have been running around like crazy. But I have a very nice guest here with me. I have been wanting to talk to her for quite a long time. I don't even know when you started, popping up on my feed. But
probably when Salvan Momika got executed, I would presume.
Probably. So, Rebecca Misterhagen, you are from Norway.
Yes.
You are Norwegian. And you have been quite active on X, have been doing political commentary. Where else are you?
So I am on YouTube. I've had the channel for years. I just never put anything on there. So I started to reorganize a little bit because I work for Document Media. So I've been a show host for about 5 years. I've done lots of interviews and I do sometimes go on other people's podcasts as well. So I started organizing a little bit so people can find my stuff easier, especially the international stuff. So, because I do work in Norwegian mostly, and as you're familiar with, my X is it's English, so people can get the drift of what's going on.
Yeah. So, my work mostly consists of commenting on Islam-related stuff and Islamization-related stuff. Recently, because our interests have kind of come into contact with each other, then the whole horrific issue with Salwan Momika, for whom I just want to express respect and love in his memory here for a second. Salwan Momika was one of the people he was one of the bravest who actually stood up against hate speech rules and hate speech laws and Islamic violence by engaging in Quran burnings and Quran desecrations to protest against the violence enacted against those who are just accused of, for example, desecrating the Quran or stuff like that. And then he was
saying stuff.
Yeah. And then he was brutally murdered in his home while he was on a live stream. And I think they still have not identified or said anything about who actually did it, right?
No, so it's a very peculiar case because first of all, he had a secret address. He was under threat, right? So his address was secret. He went out for a cigarette and he was executed by a shot to the head. So this is people who have gained access to his whereabouts, which was a secret location. And then on top of that, you had Säpo, which is the security police service of Sweden. They went out and said that Iran could be involved. And
So yeah, apparently the Islamic Republic occupying Iran was involved in the execution of Salwan Momika. There's also reports coming out that the Islamic Republic occupying Iran is also involved somehow in the terrorist attacks in Australia. I haven't made a video about it yet because I'm still waiting for more information to come out. But there are indications that this is linked back to the Islamic dictatorship, which makes sense because like we Iranians, we've been saying the Islamic regime occupying our country of Iran is the biggest sponsor of terrorism around the world. And so what do you think that means when they're sponsoring terrorism, right? Like all these incidents of jihad that you're seeing, where do you think that's coming from? Who do you think is funding it? The Islamic dictatorship that has been occupying the country of Iran for the last 47 years. They've been using Iran as an ATM, right? All of the resources that should be going to the Iranian people, the Islamic radicals are stealing the money and they're funding Hamas, they're funding Gaza, they're funding Hezbollah, they're funding the Houthis, and they're funding all of these Islamic terrorists around the world.
so, Salvan's family and friends, they're not happy with how this case has been conducted because every time I've talked to I don't know what you would say in English, but the prosecutor, I guess you would say, um, doesn't really show much interest in solving the case either. And so when you look to Sweden and you see what's going on there in terms of uh, Islam in general, mass migration, and the abolishment of free speech, the fact that you can get executed in this country for speaking your mind or being an activist, and the fact that the police isn't really doing a proper job to figure it out. At the same time, you have the clans running around.
Mhm.
And Iran has been heavily involved in the gang.
I just have to say, like, it's really frustrating when they say Iran. That's very lazy because it's not Iran, it's the Islamic Republic occupying Iran. And, prior to 1979, the name of the country was Iran. When the Islamic dictatorship took over, they actually formally changed the name of the country to the Islamic Republic of Iran, right? So it's not actually Iran, it's the Islamic Republic that is occupying Iran. That's the problem. So I just find that to be very lazy. I find that to be very ignorant because the problem isn't Iran. The problem isn't Iranians. The problem is the Islamic ideology that has occupied Iran. And the problem is that Islamic ideology that is now spreading jihad around the world. And unless and until people clearly identify the issue for what it is, you're never going to be able to defeat it, right? And you're never going to be able to to comprehend what the problem is because the problem isn't Iran. The problem is the Islamic dictatorship that is occupying Iran. I just wanted to point that out there. Wolfie, Australian government can't. Oh my, what? Are you kidding me? So the Australian government cancelled New Year's fireworks due to Islamic terrorism in Sydney. We currently have 5 no-go zones in Western Sydney which police can't go to. Oh my gosh, are you serious? We literally just heard news. Guys, like honestly, I haven't even had time to make a video about this because of all the like terrorist attacks have been going on, but just last week France announced that they are canceling their New Year's Eve celebrations because they are worried about violence from migrants, right? Migrants, aka all the Islamic jihadis that have been imported into their countries. And now you're seeing the same thing is happening in Australia. Guys, I mean, this is what jihad looks like. Like this is what an invasion looks like. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm gonna make a note of this. I'm gonna have to look into this because I had not heard about this, but I mean, guys, I don't know what else to say. Like, what more needs to happen before people wake up and realize that like we literally have a jihad problem? This is what they want. They want you guys to cancel every single non-Islamic celebration. Why is it that we never hear about I don't know, Ramadan being canceled or anything like that, right? Like it's insane. It's insane. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to make a note of this, Wolfie. So I can like look into this and I will make a video about this. I promise you. Australian government canceled NYE fireworks. Jeez. I'm so sorry this is happening. Like it's just so frustrating. Dorman, hi Goldie, really appreciate your work. I visited the UK and was shocked to see the situation there. Some places are already taking. Oh yeah, UK is really bad. UK is really really bad. It's a mess. It's a mess in the UK right now. Like they have Sharia courts everywhere. They have Sharia law. They have no-go zones. It's bad. It's bad. Wow. All right, let's continue.
The violence, the bombings, the shootings, the drugs. In fact, they facilitated attacks on the Israeli embassy in Stockholm and also in Copenhagen. So this is multifaceted. It's not just about the criticism of Islam in itself, but it's the, I guess, darkness of Iran luring in the background. We all know how fatwa, when you get a fatwa from Iran, that's a tough one.
Yep. We know.
Again, by Iran, she means the Islamic Republic. But again, like it's just the laziness. The laziness is frustrating. I'm going to say that.
Mayar Tusi, who is here organizing the event. By the way, we are at Tusi TV's new media conference, which is going very, very well. We know of him. I mean, I just had a conversation with him yesterday, and he has been directly targeted by Iran. He is in contact.
Mahir Tusi is Iranian, by the way. So there you go. Like we Iranians, when we speak out, yeah, we're direct targets. In fact, I am also being directly targeted. So it's very dangerous for us Iranians to speak out against the Islamic Republic because the Islamic Republic does not want the rest of you guys to know the truth about what's going on. And they know that we know the truth because we're literally the ones dealing with it and experiencing it.
With lots of people who have been directly targeted by the Islamic regime of Iran. And when I talk to Iranians, they often ask me to say.
Oh my gosh!
Islamic,
okay. Oh my gosh! So this is okay. Wow. Okay. So he. Okay, I'm gonna go back here because I've been interrupting. Like so okay. So I have been complaining a little bit about how I don't like it when they say Iran. They should say the Islamic Republic because the Islamic Republic is occupying Iran and they're murdering us Iranians. So I have a feeling that that's exactly what Ridvan is going to talk about right now. So I'm just let's just listen. And again, this is one of the reasons that I have so much respect for him and everything he says, and everyone should follow him.
Oh, how fatwa, when you get a fatwa from Iran, that's a tough one.
Yep. We know Mayar Tusi, who is here organizing the event. By the way, we are at Tusi TV's new media conference, which is going very, very well. We know of him. I mean, I just had a conversation with him yesterday, and he has been directly targeted by Iran. He is in contact with lots of people who have been directly targeted by the Islamic regime of Iran. And when I talk to Iranians, they often ask me to say Islamic Republic or Islamic regime of Iran and not to say Iran, because they feel very, very deeply and very bad about the fact that the name Iran is being,
desecrated
by this Islamic regime that is hell bent on destroying anything good out there. But
so true. So you know what? I'm glad he brought it up because 100%. Like the Islamic Republic is the most anti-Iranian thing that exists. Like the Islamic Republic has been trying to erase and get rid of our Iranian identity for the last 47 years. And so, yeah, it's kind of frustrating when people call it Iran. No, the Islamic Republic has nothing to do with Iran. They are anti-Iranian. They actually hate Iran. Um, so I see someone, I don't know, some like jihadi in the comments, called me like a Mossad agent. Um, you're absolutely right. Like I'm Mossad. Everyone in the chat is Mossad. This whole channel is basically Mossad. I'm AI. I'm not even a real person. Like I'm an AI generated. This is all AI generated and it's like funded by Mossad. So just put your Mossad accusation out there right now and just get over it and then just move on and go to like some other channels. So yeah, like but guys, don't insult me. Please don't insult me by saying that I get $7,000 per post. I'm worth way more than that. I get like $7,000 per minute. Okay. So if you want to accuse me of getting paid $7,000 by Israel, please at least like, know my worth. Know my worth. I'm like the top Mossad agent. So for me, it's like $7,000 a minute. Yeah. So I just want to make that very, very clear. Canadian A. The parallels between Islamism and communism are too much to ignore. It's terrifying, the brainwashing. I think they're working together 100% Canadian. So that's called the unholy alliance of the red and the black, red being communism, black being Islamism. That unholy alliance is what toppled Iran in 1979 and turned my birth country into a 7th century Islamic hellhole governed by Sharia law. I have done a lot of live streams where I've spoken about this unholy alliance, but I will make sort of a shorter video to talk about it because it is very important. And I recognize that people appreciate having a shorter video that they can sort of share and watch over and over again. So that is on my to-do list. But you're absolutely right. It is very dangerous seeing these two anti-imperialist, anti-Western ideologies working together to destabilize Western civilization. It is a big, big problem.
The Islamic regime of Iran clearly is behind a lot of the bad stuff that is happening, and Israel was good enough to actually confront them and to fight with them. And then you had a mass propaganda going on in the world in favor of the Islamic regime of Iran, trying to depict Israel as the evil guy.
I mean, how long is it since World War II? How long is it really since 1945? And I'm not talking like clock years. I'm talking memory here. I'm talking ideology. I'm talking awareness. Because when such a short amount of time, there's still living generations from this war, from the Second World War today, and yet somehow anti-Semitism and violent anti-Semitism has come back to Europe. Mm-hmm. It is flourishing in Europe. We have never seen anything like this in my lifetime, at least I can say. I was surprised looking online at how accepted it is to just hate Jews, to throw them off balconies, to have teachers chased to their home and having the Star of David painted on their door. You know, this is where we're at right now, and this has everything to do with the mass migration, multiculturalism, as they call it, which is synonym for Islamification of Europe. And it's just, we're seeing it happening in real time, and there's so few defenders of Jews
Yeah.
or Israel. And yes, they did confront Iran, but when you see the mass propaganda, that not only the propaganda, but the level of protests that were happening in European capitals and also US capitals, United States capitals, university campuses, all this, after October 7th,
Yeah.
I was gobsmacked. How is this possible?
You had terrorists, self-declared, resistance, but that are actually Islamic terrorists that have a very clear mission to eradicate the Jews, to destroy all others, and to establish an Islamic country and to restart the Islamic Caliphate. You had those people, together with other terrorist organizations and with the civilian population of Gaza, by the way, enter Israel and without discrimination, massacre, murder, rape, and do all kinds of horrible things to civilians in Israel. And the next day you had people in Europe protesting against Israel, protesting basically in favor of the terrorists who did this kind of
It's
stuff.
insane. It's insanity to me. I don't have any other words to express the insanity of that. And, looking at my own country.
Oh, so one of our channel members asked. So Smokin is asking if Iran got its king back, what nuclear threat would it pose? Absolutely nothing. In fact, the previous the previous Shah of Iran was one of the first people to sign the non-proliferation treaty. Because he knew how dangerous nuclear weapons is, and so he never wanted nuclear weapons for Iran. So yeah, and the current Shah of Iran in exile, he's actually said that when Iran is free, the world will be welcome to come in and figure out what the Islamic Republic has been doing and just shut it down. Like there's literally no intention for the current Shah in exile to engage in nuclear proliferation. We don't want that, and in fact, we Iranians, especially Iranians in occupied Iran, are very grateful to President Trump for destroying the nuclear facilities of the Islamic dictatorship. Because if, God forbid, the Islamic dictatorship, if they are able to obtain nuclear weapons, then Iran is going to be like the next North Korea, and Iranian people will never be able to then overthrow the dictatorship because they're going to have nuclear weapons, right? So President Trump did Iranians a really huge favor, and Iranians in occupied Iran were actually celebrating when President Trump destroyed the nuclear facilities of the Islamic dictatorship.
And my own government, and how ideology has played a role in our school systems, our upbringing, and how this is all panned out. You know that we flew the Taliban to Norway on a private jet and put them up in a luxury hotel, right?
Oh.
She is now a diplomat in Washington, D.C. She was the foreign minister, invited the Taliban, put them on a private jet, flew them to Oslo to talk, and hold on to your chair right now, women's rights with the Taliban. You know what happened after that? What happened was that women were banned from speaking publicly in Afghanistan. And I don't blame them by this point, The lack of intelligence in dealing with terrorists, and Taliban has been a reoccurring thing for Norway. And also Hamas has also been the same thing. Tromsø, which is they call it the Paris of the North, is one of the 5 bigger cities in Norway. They've been a friendship city with Gaza for I don't know how many years, but long before October 7th, okay? So the pro-Palestinian movement in Norway has been there all along. It's just that we saw it happen in real time.
It's so messed up to me, though. The Western people, the Western nations, or those in charge of Western nations, repeatedly make these mistakes. I don't know if it's mistakes. I don't know what it is at this point.
Not
But
mistakes.
for example, with Iran, the same thing. The leader of the Islamic Revolution, Khomeini, he was by Western media and by Western politicians hailed as a freedom fighter full of hope, as the Iranian Gandhi, as one who will bring life to Iran and all that. And what happened? They supported him. They flew him to Iran. They put him there. And then as soon as he took power, he started mass killing, executing people who opposed him, executing the leftists who helped him, who are always the idiot imbeciles in the situation. Started imposing brutal restrictions on women and veiling them all, causing a mass exodus of Iranians who don't want to live under such a regime. And look where Iran is right now. Unfortunately, the West always has a role in doing things like this. And yesterday we attended a protest, and there were groups of people, socialists, leftists, communists, standing together with some Muslim people wearing keffiyehs, waving the Palestinian flag and shouting down with Zionism and calling the Jews basically Nazis, while also actually the protest was a counter-protest against British patriots. And it was about let in all the refugees. All refugees welcome. All refugees welcome. But somehow in the middle of it, the whole protest also turned into
Pro-Palestine.
Israelis are evil and pro-Palestine.
But if you look at...
I also want to point out that the vast majority, like 99% of the people who were, supporting the Islamic Republic during the conflict between Israel and the Islamic Republic weren't even Iranian. They were like the pro-Palestine, communist, woke watermelon keffiyeh wearing idiots, right? So again, the vast majority of Iranians were actually happy that Israel was going in and attacking the Islamic Republic that has been occupying us. And the only people complaining were the ones who are getting funded by the Islamic Republic because, they care more about their paycheck than they do about Iranian lives. And that's why they hate us. That's why they hate us. I've spoken about this in the past as well. If you go check out some of my other videos, you'll see where I kind of talk about this stuff. Yeah.
If you, if you look at Twitter or X, I'm sorry, Elon. I mean X.
We apologize. Yeah.
I mean, if you look, you can post anything critical to Islam. You can post anything critical to the Quran, and somehow the entire commentary under your post suddenly turns into how it's all Israel's fault. They brought the jihadists to Europe, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, so riddle my mind, because this is how I view it, and I think this just like. I now understand why Islam and Marxism is so closely knit, because they lack logic, both of them, right? So you have all these anti-Semites sitting there telling me that the reason why the women in my country and the women in Western nations are being gang raped and killed is because Jews live in Israel. And they sent them here. And I'm thinking, okay, well, you see all these jihadists, Muslims, Islamists, call them whatever you want. To me, it's the same thing. They're all protesting Israel, and they're demonstrating for Palestine. But at the same time, they're all over the internet saying, I'm a Muslim, so I work for Israel. Israel sent me here. Like, it's just this lack of logic that I can't wrap my head around.
It's even worse when you think about it. Think about this. So Israel has the nations that support Israel right now on the global stage are mostly Western nations. So Western nations are in support of Israel still to an extent. Apparently, allegedly, Israel is the one that gets all the support from the Western nations, but Israel is also the one that sends all the Islamists, all the Muslims to the West to ruin the West and to destroy the West and to destroy the only ones that are actually the allies of Israel, so that Israel is then standing alone at the end. I'm sorry, but if you want to at the same time claim that the Jews are these evil masterminds, but then also claim that they are so stupid that they actually deliberately destroy their own allies.
And don't forget that also they're the puppet masters for the jihadists
Oh, yeah,
as
yeah.
well, because they work together
Yeah.
somehow.
They're also.
It's just, you know,
We just don't get it. We're not smart enough. So.
no, probably not smart enough. But I can tell you though, there is like this whole thing with the activism of burning the Quran. I don't know how usual that is in other parts of the world, or if that is a Scandinavian phenomenon, because in all three countries, Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, we have people who deliberately put up an event and say, hey, I'm going to be burning the...
Sorry. Someone in the chat asked me if I watched Candace Owens' show today. She put out the most hateful, vile stuff about Jews. She sounded like Louis Farrakhan, and YouTube still pushes her. Yeah, so I've actually never watched a Candace Owens episode, and I never will. Like, she's crazy. She just basically pushes out anti-Semitic propaganda because she's found like this crowd of people who just, you know, promote her content. And I've never watched a single one of her episodes. Everything that I've seen is just like clips that show up on my X feed. But she's insane. Like I wouldn't waste my time. I have very little patience with content creators who are stupid. Let me put it that way. Like, again, I was a politician for 7 years. I was in politics for 10 years. Before that, I was an international trade lawyer. So like I have zero patience for idiocy. So yeah, I haven't seen her for a full episode. I would never watch it. Like I would just I actually I literally don't even engage with people like that. I don't even comment on people like that because it's just um I don't want to lose brain cells. I would rather watch things where I can learn something as opposed to like these crazy people who have figured out the YouTube algorithm and they just they push conspiracy theories because that's how they make money. So yeah, I mean these people will have to answer to God. And yeah, that's it. But
Quran
there you
today
go.
and come hang out and see what happens.
You know, you can't do that here in the UK. I was exploring that, and you can't do that here in the UK.
No, you get arrested.
Yeah, you get arrested.
Well, now in Denmark, you get arrested as well because they put up sort of like a blasphemy law. And they tried to do the same in Sweden. I thought it was very fun. See, this is what I like about all these outcasts that people are hating on for being obnoxious and loud and
Oh yeah, someone says yeah, like when Candace Owens was mocking Charlie Kirk's widow, yeah, that was in very very poor taste. But anyways, like I said, I don't get into that stuff. It's just really unfortunate that there are people out there that say that kind of stuff. I have a lot of respect for Erica Kirk, and I was really saddened by what happened to Charlie Kirk. And in fact, the next video by Apostate Prophet that I'm going to play is actually his conversation with Charlie Kirk, God rest his soul. So we're gonna get there soon. So after this particular video, we're gonna go to one where I feature Charlie Kirk as well.
unintelligent, or they don't speak nicely enough, you know, the rude, these hooligans that burn the Quran. That being Stop Islamization of Norway, which is an organization in Norway that does this, that speaks, also runs around doing dialogue, you know, trying to inform people about what the Quran actually says. But also Polydon, which is he was a politician in Denmark. He went to Sweden a lot to burn the Quran, right? And so they wanted to stop him.
Mm-hmm.
So they excluded him from Sweden. Like they expelled him.
Oh yeah.
Turns out his mom was Swedish, so he got himself a Swedish passport, so they couldn't do it anyway. So he just went back. So now they have to do something with the laws, and this is how it kind of got to Salvan, Momika, and his friend, who was also named as Salvan, I think. Because they had the court case a couple of days after he was executed, right?
Yeah.
So blasphemy laws are now in place, and you can't really burn, but people do it anyway. And I think that, I don't know how you feel about it, but it always tickles my brain a little bit when people say, well, you should be more polite. You should speak more intelligently. You should do this and that. And being obnoxious or rude is wrong because you're not going to gain any support that way. And I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, have you heard of Lim? No. They're very polite talking about the Quran, but you've never heard of them because they're not provoking you, because they're just ignored because they're polite. That is one side of it. And the other side of it, I don't know anybody who is so obnoxious as Islamists are.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they're allowed to be rude, but you're not allowed to be rude back.
Mm-hmm.
Why is that?
See, things are changing. I think you just crossed like 100,000 followers on Twitter, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, so Rebecca, Mr. Egan is on X, and you have just you're over 100,000 followers right now. Clearly, the whole stay nice and be proper and all that is not necessarily the right way to do things, because we are talking to people, we are talking to the average population, and I have to say. If it comes to being intelligent or being smart or whatever you want to call it, I would say that being respectful toward Islam is definitely not the smart thing. Being respectful toward Islam is definitely not the intelligent thing. I am an ex-Muslim. I am supposed to be executed by Islam. I'm not going to stand there and say, oh, I don't want to offend anybody, but I don't think I should be executed. No, I'm going to offend people back, because that's what Islam understands. We don't have to be nice. Now, we have to wrap this up, but in just a minute, what do you think, if you have some final words to say, what do you think the solution should be? How should the Western nations and Western people approach the demographic change and the Islamization, and how should they deal with it?
So I think the answer is remigration, to be honest. That is the only solution. I don't want to have a war. I don't want people to be killed or kill people in the streets. I don't want to go there. Let me say it like this. Islam has no place in the West. I don't want any mosques. I don't want any worshipping of Islam. The ideology that is Islam, because I don't see Islam as a religion. Italy doesn't acknowledge Islam as a religion. It is an ideology. If your need to worship Islam is that big and you want to follow Sharia and this is your culture, you have 50 plus countries to choose from. You don't need to stay in mine, okay? So remigrate all the people that wants to follow this ideology. And I'm going to say this, and I'm going to say this every single time someone asks me, oh, there's a problem with remigration. There's no problem with remigration. I don't care if you're born here third generation. If asylum seeker status can be inherited in Gaza, refugee status can be inherited in Gaza for generations, no matter what country you live in, so can it in Europe. And so you can be remigrated. And if you want to call me a racist or hate me for that, go ahead. I don't care. But remigration is the answer.
That was awesome. I love it. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Always
Thank you for having me.
Very, very awesome to meet you. And
Okay, so that was the first video by Apostate Prophet. Let's go to the next one now. This one, I believe, is called. So this one is okay. So let's go to the Charlie Kirk one. So this is the one. He posted this 3 months ago, and it's called Charlie Kirk and Apostate Prophet on Islam. So this was literally like, just right before Charlie Kirk was assassinated. So yeah, God rest his soul. Like, Charlie Kirk was such a good person, and I was devastated to hear about his assassination. Just absolutely horrifying.
It's one of the most important topics close to my heart. What is your last name?
Aydemir.
Ridvan Aydemir, who is a former Muslim. He runs a channel called the Apostate Prophet, and you are very outspoken about Islam. So welcome.
Thank you.
And why don't you take a moment, just introduce yourself to our audience.
Sure, thank you so much. So I'm Ridvan Aydemir, Apostate Prophet. That's the channel that I started. I'm a former Muslim, was born in Germany, of Turkish, very religious Muslim parents. Now live here in America. Was an atheist for like 10 years or so, and have recently become a Christian. So.
Praise the Lord. So, there's so many directions.
That's actually the journey of a lot of ex-Muslims. So even Ayan Hirsi Ali, if you've seen some of my live streams where I feature her, she actually speaks about her journey as well and how she, was raised Muslim and then she left Islam, became an ex-Muslim, and then eventually she found Christianity, and now she is a Christian as well. So a lot of ex-Muslims do eventually go towards Christianity.
To go here. Why did you leave Islam?
That's a very long story.
I've had a long day, so take as much time as you'd like.
So where should I start? I mean, as said, so I was part of a family that was always very religious. That was Sunni Muslim, a very popular form of Islam. They raised me under semi-strict circumstances, which are very weird from an American perspective, such as at home we weren't allowed to listen to music, for example. Can you imagine that? We were raised with the idea, this is the funny thing, I have to bring up this aspect actually before going into it to give you a better understanding. I was a child of immigrants from Turkey to Germany. So we lived in Germany, a Christian nation, or you could call some aspects of it post-Christian,
Yeah,
but
it's
pretty much
more secular.
Yeah, but still pretty Christian.
Sure.
I mean, I was raised under Christian circumstances at school while being having Islam, completely built into my mind at home.
So you were raised by Muslims?
Yes. And while I am there in that Christian country, I would go to school as a little child and encounter all these wonderful, nice, beautiful people and admire the German culture, admire the Western culture, admire Christianity.
I just wanted to give a shout out. We have a new member, Asuto Shohanak. I'm so sorry, I can't pronounce that properly. Asuto Shohanak, I know you're in the live stream and you are watching, so welcome and thank you for being a member. I hope you enjoy the live stream, and in the evenings, it's a little bit more casual. So we just watch documentaries and we comment on them in the live stream chat. But thank you so much for joining Goldie's Gang. Really appreciate you, appreciate the support, and welcome. Great to have you. Appreciating all the new members.
But at home, from my own family and their surroundings, I would learn.
I also just want to say, guys, I literally I have been so busy today that I actually haven't eaten anything yet. So I don't know. I need to order some food. So the reason I'm on my phone is I'm literally trying to figure out what I'm gonna order for dinner. It's already past 10 p.m. here, and I still haven't eaten anything today. So just don't mind me. I am paying attention, but I'm just trying to order food.
From a very young age that you cannot trust non-Muslims, you cannot trust Christians, you cannot trust Jews is a whole different topic.
It's more than not trusting Jews.
Yes. To give you a very simple example, I think I was in first or second grade. It's very, very difficult to remember nowadays, but there was a weekend where my family took me and my siblings to a religious gathering that they would usually go to. And during that religious gathering, I heard that that in the possible near future, we Muslims will fight the Jews and we will kill them. And even the rocks and trees will say to us, "Oh Muslim, there is a Jew behind me, come and kill him." Except for one tree called the Kargat tree, which is a tree of the Jews. So this is what I heard. I also heard then that the Christians would also be among our enemies, but with them it would be a little bit more complicated because Jesus.
I know it's like the third holiest or second holiest, right?
Yeah, and
there is an eschatological belief in Islam that Jesus comes in the end times. Is that right? Yeah.
Exactly.
I wanted to get into that.
But it's a very corrupt form of. So
but Islam does have a reverence for Jesus.
Well,
they don't believe he was God, but they believe he was the Messiah. Is that correct?
Yes, but they also don't really know what the Messiah is. So what they do believe is that Jesus, who is in Islam called Isa, with a kind of corruption of his name, was actually just a prophet of Allah. And he came here.
He was Muslim.
Yeah, he was a Muslim, and he came here to deliver the Muslim message and to ask people to submit to Islam. That's all he was. He was also the Messiah.
Yeah, that's a bunch of crap.
Yeah, it is, obviously. And I mean, if you go with the Christian narrative, right? If you accept that Jesus came and he was actually truthful, you can't have another message after him.
Correct.
You can't have another religion after him. And Islam comes and acts as if Jesus was simply a messenger, but his entire message was all corrupted by his followers, the Christians, who became hypocrites and evil, and the actual true message is that of Islam. And according to Islam, Jesus will come back, and what he will do according to Muhammad is he will come back and he will break the cross and kill the pig.
Oh, we have a super chat. So Dorman says, I heard a lot of Muslims saying that Turkey follows real Islam because there is no force on anything there like hijab. Which country follows real Islam? If you've seen some of my other live streams, especially where you have people like Raymond Ibrahim and others speak about it, the countries that are more moderate are the ones that actually don't follow Islam strictly. So, yeah, like I've actually made a video about Tajikistan, and you have countries like Tajikistan where they've banned like the beard, like the weird scraggly beard that like the jihadis wear, usually the ones from like Pakistan and Bangladesh, right? So they've banned those like weird beards where they shave the mustache but the beard grows. So they've banned that. They've banned like Islamic hijab. And these are all like Muslim countries, right? So I would say the countries that are more moderate are the ones that aren't actually practicing true Islam. Because if you were going to follow true Islam to the T, then it would look something like the Islamic Republic occupying Iran or, Afghanistan. So, yeah, the others are a little bit more moderate, and they don't follow true Islam.
And then will reign as a Muslim ruler over the people. According to some interpretations, that is meant to be so when he breaks the cross and kills the pigs and abolishes a protection money imposed on non-Muslims, it means that he will come to the Christians and tell them what the real religion actually is.
Oh, Dr. Cobra sent a super sticker. Thank you. Thank you for the support, super sticker. I appreciate that. Very kind of you.
Isn't that zakat, the tax or something, right?
Yeah, it's the jizya.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, okay.
It has a very questionable name, but
I was going to say.
But
so I have so many questions here. So you leave Islam,
yeah,
because it was just didn't ring to me true.
So I became very religious at some point in my life when I was a late teenager, became very dedicated and started reading the Quran. When I read the Quran, the problem started arising because, believe it or not, Muslims will tell you that it is the best book ever written and that nobody can write a better book than the Quran.
Oh, Le Porc Belge. Love you and your work, Goldie. Kiss from Belgium. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I love Belgium. I love Belgian chocolates. I've never been to Belgium, but I would love to travel at some point. It's such a beautiful country, and yeah, j'aime is it le belge or is it la belge? I'm never good with like my figuring out if it's le or la, like the masculine and feminine in French. It always like just catches me off guard. But merci beaucoup pour votre comment et votre support. Vive la Belge.
But if you read it,
Vive
my
la
friend
Belge.
David Wood with
There
whom
we
I
go.
stream.
Sorry. Vive la Belgique. There we go. OK, merci. Merci pour ça. Merci pour cette information. Et oui, je peux parler français un petit peu parce que je suis allée à l'école immersion au Toronto parce que mes parents ont connu l'importance d'être bilingue au Canada. Et c'est pour cette raison que je peux parler anglais, français, and of course, I speak Persian as well. Merci beaucoup pour for your support.
A lot. Thank you. People love David Wood. You should have him too.
I will.
You should invite him at some point. But he's fantastic. He likes to quote.
Oh, are you guys impressed? Are you guys impressed that I know French? Guys, there's a lot about me that you don't know. I'm holding back a lot. So yes, I do speak French. I am trilingual, and I just find it very interesting and kind of funny that because I don't speak English or French with like a Farsi accent, a Persian accent, people think that I don't speak Farsi or I don't know anything about Iran. But yeah, no, like I can switch back and forth between English, French, and Persian. No problem. No problem. But yeah, I do think as a Canadian, it's very important to be able to be bilingual. And even though my parents don't speak French, when they immigrated to Canada, they put me and my sister in French immersion. So that's why I speak French, and I'm very proud of my French. I do need to work on my French though; it's not the greatest, but it is conversational. So like I obviously know enough to have a conversation and get along, but then there's certain words here and there that I forget, and then the le and the la, right? Like knowing whether something like a word is feminine or masculine. I always have trouble remembering that. But French is a beautiful language.
Somebody who says that reading the Quran is like penance.
I don't feel that way with the Bible, though.
No.
So let's just start. I want to get to why you left Islam, but so the Quran is separated in surahs, is that right?
Yeah.
Surahs?
Yeah.
And they're
chapters. Yeah.
But it's not chronological. It's the longest first. Is that correct?
Correct.
And it kind of jumps. Is there 64 of them? Is that right? Or
there are actually 140.
Oh wow, I'm way off. Okay, and so the part of it is normative Christian theology, but it's all counterfeit. Is that right?
You are partly right there. It has some Christian aspects, but it is also so it very much started out as a pagan religion in Arabia that attempted to turn it into a monotheistic religion because Muhammad really was impressed by the Jews and Christians that he encountered.
So was what is considered Islam predate Muhammad, and he just adopted it as a warlord?
According to some theories, yes. According to the official narrative and the Islamic narrative, which I think is quite plausible, he's the one who comes up with it.
So for the person who's saying is it Persian or Farsi? So Persian is the English word for Farsi. Kind of like how, Germans in their own language, they don't say, like when they're speaking German, they don't say I'm speaking German. They say they speak Dutch, right? Deutsch. So, and then German is also called Deutschland. So in their own native tongue, they say Deutsch, but in English, we say German. So it's similar to like that's the best way to describe Persian versus Farsi. So in our own language, we say Farsi, like we'll say man Farsi sobat mikonam. But in English, we'll say I speak Persian. So Persian is the English word for Farsi.
He comes from a family of polytheistic Arab pagans, but he starts going against their traditions and saying that there is only one God named Allah. So he starts this whole new religion and starts attacking the polytheists and their idols and all that.
So, fast forwarding back to you, we're going to jump all over the place. You leave Islam.
Just like the Quran.
Exactly, that's all over the place. The Quran is like, I'm reading this thing. I'm like, by the way, Don't read it unless you're ready to be super confused. I think it's kind of dark. I mean, I could use the word demonic.
It's very stupid. So.
Yeah, it's stupid. Thank you. So you leave Islam, you're an atheist. What brought you to Jesus?
It was a very long process, but for most of the time as an atheist, I was convinced that there is no God because I couldn't prove it. But I always had respect for religion. I had respect for Christianity. I always made that very clear. The thing is, over the many years after I left Islam, I tried to keep up this whole narrative, this whole charade, to be very honest now, that after leaving Islam and thinking for myself and being independent and not believing in fairy tales, that I'm a very happy person now. The thing is, for all those 10 years, I wasn't happy. I was really struggling inside. It was really bad. And one of the big issues that I have always had was that humans seek purpose in this world. We seek a purpose in life. We do everything for a purpose. I had accepted at a certain point that that there seems to be no inherent purpose or meaning to life.
So nihilistic.
At all, yeah. And I thought, okay, I can make peace with that idea, but I never did because it's incredibly.
Well, because
dark.
it's actually a contradiction.
Yeah.
Because finding peace and no meaning in itself is a contradiction.
Yeah.
Because that would be meaning and finding no meaning.
Exactly.
So it's a self-defeating statement because it's like, oh, I'm going to find meaning and not having meaning. Well, then you just found meaning.
Yeah.
So
one method.
Definitionally, you can't escape it.
Exactly. One way to go against that is to simply embrace the absurdity of it all, which I was trying to do, and to simply live with it. But it's very difficult. You know, it is extremely difficult. And it was actually until I looked further into the evidence for Christianity that I was quite surprised. Because as an atheist, I often heard, and I was also under the impression, that Christianity simply relies on different accounts by people who didn't witness anything, who lived long after Jesus.
It's not true.
And who just wrote things down about him without knowing it from hearsay. It's very funny because only when I was slowly approaching Christianity did I find out that this is complete nonsense. Yes. But so many people propagate this idiotic idea.
Oh yeah, I mean, and Luke, for example, was a first-class historian.
Yeah.
I mean, he was a historian of the first order who wrote most of the New Testament, and he was paid. Theophilus paid him to go research this stuff and be like, find out who this Jesus guy is, and he wrote basically a definitive documentary. He wrote Luke and Acts. That's all written by Luke. And he basically said, oh, Theophilus means lover of God. Here's what I learned, right? And by the way, it's completely consistent with the other Gospels. And so you eventually, that led you to Jesus.
Yeah, it was also about Paul. So at that point, I was seeking religion, but I was exploring other religions. I was exploring, for example,
Johnny, thank you so much for the super sticker. I hope you're enjoying the live stream. Welcome.
Judaism, which I still have a lot of respect for, and try to figure out and understand and all that. But in the middle of that, at that point, I was like, I thought, okay, I like religion, but I don't want to go into the direction of Christianity. It's very funny. One day, my wife, who actually went into the direction of Christianity before me, asked me to read something in Romans. Just one little section about how Paul says, I can do nothing of my own, and
yes.
It is all God. So I started reading that, and it kind of, originally I accepted it and decided to read part of it because I thought, okay, she's asking me, I guess I'll just do it. Then I sat down and started reading it, and I was fascinated by it. So I started reading, I read the entire thing, all of Romans. And then I started looking into how Paul came to his conclusions.
Yes.
And suddenly it turns out that everything I have been told about the witness accounts and about what Paul did and wrote is all a lie, because the historical account very clearly is that he directly met and spent so much time with the disciples of Jesus himself.
That's exactly right.
And with the apostles. He didn't do anything on his own. He did it all together with those who were directly in the presence of Jesus, who saw all the things that Jesus did and said, who witnessed miracles. They have it confirmed to each other that hundreds of people witnessed the miracles that are recorded in this book that we now call the New Testament, in the Gospels. And just going into that, I felt a little bit betrayed, because I thought for 10 years now, I was a skeptic, and I learned that, oh, I'm supposed to trust only first-hand evidence, absolute, empiricist and all that. And then I found out that I have been completely lied to about all the evidence when it comes to Christianity.
It is the most robust, historically verified faith, period.
Absolutely.
It's not even, everything else is a lie. Judaism's not a lie, it's just incomplete, okay? It's just half the story. But nothing else exists like it, period, especially from a historical text standpoint. And so for you, it's so interesting. So your path to Jesus was mostly through the mind, not through the heart.
It was both, I would say. If it wasn't the heart, it wouldn't have
Been real.
Yeah. And
but your reason led you towards Christ, and that's okay. Everyone has a different path.
I'm actually very happy to say that this is very funny, because as a skeptic, as an atheist, it was very important to me to always give people the impression that everything I do is based completely on reason, and logic and evidence and all that. However, the way I felt about Christianity once I started reading also had a great impact, and I found peace. I don't want to make a comparison now to Judaism, for example, but I looked into Judaism, and I was very interested in it. I had lots of admiration for it, lots of love for it, but I tried the Jewish prayers, for example, and something felt incomplete for me.
Incomplete is the word.
Yeah, and this is not a diss for Judaism, but once I started reading the New Testament, and I actually did my first prayer the Christian way, it was very moving. It brought something back that I felt had died within me so many decades ago, and it is still there. When I first went to church, I was quite overwhelmed, and I have been.
Are you Orthodox?
Yes,
or,
yes, Orthodox.
Eastern Orthodox. It's a beautiful faith.
Yes. The divine liturgy.
It really is.
As it's called.
What I love about Orthodox, actually, I have an Orthodox priest. Is that the right term? Or
yeah.
Clergy coming on my show.
Oh my gosh, someone just called me a Zoomer streamer, and I had to look that up. So Zoomer is a popular nickname for Gen Z. Guys, I'm not that old. I am a millennial. I'm an elder millennial though, right? So I'm not Gen Z. I'm a millennial, but I was around during the time of ICQ and MySpace. Guys, I had a MySpace account back in the day, and I was on ICQ and MSN Messenger and AOL Messenger, and I used dial-up, and so I know I'm old, but I'm not that old. I'm not a Zoomer. I'm not a Zoomer. You're 1986? I'm 1985. Yeah, I was born I'm literally an elder millennial. I was right on the cusp. I was born in 1985. So, yeah. I just turned 40 this year. I'm close to Gen X. I'm close, but I'm not there.
On Tuesday, and I'm going to ask him, I'm evangelical, but I love, and correct me if I'm wrong, in Orthodox, you're very careful you're more.
Oh my gosh, someone said Napster. Yeah, I remember Napster. That's where I would, download all the videos. So there you go. You're 1980 Gen Xer. So you're, Mort Rouge, you're literally on the cusp, right? Because there's sort of this overlap between, I would say, between 1980 and 1985. That's where the Gen X and the the Gen X and the Gen Z kind of overlap there. So I mean, we're pretty much the same at this point, but we're the overlap generation, right? Do I remember experiencing 911? Yeah, 9/11. I was in grade 10, and it was just horrifying. It was horrifying to see it. And I remember, I literally remember watching the second tower just collapse live as it was happening on the news. And it was just It was horrifying. And to me, it's very, very scary that people seem to have forgotten about 9/11 and who was behind it, and all like those jihadi Palestinians who were celebrating the death of American citizens. Was absolutely horrifying. Oh, nous avons une question en français. Alors, je dois pratiquer mon français. So, Mange t'appelle. Que pensez-vous des prières de rue à Montréal? So, Mange t'appelle is asking me, what do I think about the prayers on Montreal Street? I mean, if you're referring to the Islamic prayers that are happening in front of churches in Montreal and all over Quebec. I think that's a sign of jihad. I think that's a sign of political conquest, and I'm very happy that the provincial government of Quebec is taking a stand to ban all of that. Like, just you need to ban it. You need to nip it in the bud. These people are not there to coexist. The fact that they are going in front of your churches and they're yelling Allahu Akbar and praying in the street, that's a sign of jihad. That's a sign of political, Islamic dominance and conquest, and it's incredibly disrespectful to the Christians who built the country. So ban it and kick them out. Just get rid of them. Get rid of the jihadis, right? You don't want them in your country. All right. Merci pour votre question et pour votre support.
More clear about what God is not than what God is. Is that correct?
Precisely.
It's like we're not going to, it drives me nuts when people say they over-ascribe definitions to God. Mm-hmm. And I think that's super prideful. So I think you start with what God isn't. And I think that's the baseline of Orthodox faith. Yeah. Is that right? It's a humble approach to the Lord.
That is Orthodox theology, basically. That also fascinated me when I found out about this.
Because me too.
For the longest time, so I heard a lot of debates and discussions about whether God exists or not, and the evidence for God, and so on. And I know that those debates have great impact on a lot of people. I myself felt usually unmoved by much of it. It didn't appeal to me. But when I started to understand Orthodox theology, for example, I realized.
Sorry, I just want to respond. So Mange says Canada a besoin de femmes comme vous. Moi, j'étais une députée provinciale à Ontario pour 7 années, et j'ai parlé, I spoke about these things, mais parce que j'ai parlé, because I spoke, sorry, I have to say this in English, because I spoke about all this radicalism, the National Council of Canadian Muslims accused me of Islamophobia, and then Doug Ford kicked me out of my party. So there you go. I was a politician for 7 years. I was in politics for 10. But I think that what the provincial government in Quebec is doing is very important, and they need to continue. So I think it all needs to be banned. So
that I really love the mystery of it.
Hello from Vancouver, Canada. Oh my gosh, all these Canadians in here. I love that. I love the fact that all the Canadians are here. See my flag? I love my Canadian flag. Very, very proud of it. Love Canada, and proud Canadian. Oh, and Alberta too. Okay, fantastic.
It is. So in Western theology, there is a lot of attempts to describe precisely what God is and how God is and what God does. And in Orthodoxy, it's rather
that is correct. Yeah, it's a very Calvinist German lawyerly way of looking. And by the way, I think he was right about a lot. But John Calvin was like, I'm going to figure out all the attributes of God, very specific and definitionally. And he might end up being right. We might go to heaven, and he might have crushed it.
Yeah.
But the problem with that is you get really wacky theology if somebody takes that premise and they have no idea what they're talking about. For example, Episcopalians are like, oh, God is a woman, right? Or God is trans. So that can go a really bad place very quickly. You know what I'm saying? Like in the modern era, we've seen that what I think Calvin started in a pretty good spirit grow to something pretty dark 500 years later.
Yeah, you could argue that.
So let's get back. So you're a Christian. Let me just kind of go through a rapid fire, if that's okay.
Sure.
But let's first go through Islam 101. Mm-hmm. Is it true that they say Muhammad is the greatest man ever to live?
Yes.
Was Muhammad a warlord?
Yes.
How many people did he kill?
Personally or
Approximation.
Lots.
Thousands.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many was he responsible for? Tens of thousands of deaths?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it true that he married a 9-year-old named Aisha?
No, he actually married a 6-year-old.
Oh, I'm
Aisha.
sorry. Okay.
And
So 6-year-old.
Yes.
So we got to make sure we're very clear here. That there's no misinformation. So that would be pedophile.
yeah, I actually, if I can pause there for a second.
No, please. And if I'm wrong, correct me. I'm not here to. I want the truth. I want our audience to have the truth.
No, I want to. I like to, as disgusting as it is, I would like to pause there for a second, because when we talk about a 6-year-old being married, first off, it's not simply marrying a 6-year-old. It is the Prophet Muhammad, the most perfect figure for all mankind. He is in his 50s, and without any necessity at all, he picks and marries a 6-year-old little girl. And then when she's 9 years old, he then consummates the marriage in his mid-50s with her. And that's his third wife. And at that point,
Oh my gosh, guys. I have to stop here because, like, I mean, I already know all this stuff, but I literally just went to go grab my food because my sushi came and I was hungry. And now that I'm hearing about this, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like losing my appetite again. So, but yeah, everything Reed Vaughn's saying here is 100% true. And yeah, like Muhammad already had so many wives. Like, why did he have to go marry a 6-year-old? It's disgusting. It's disgusting to me. Yeah. Oh, we have a comment. Okay. Mr. Probate Lawyer Lorenzo Raw, I'm a proponent of free speech, but the path we are headed in the USA, we need to have any alliance or favor to a foreign country as trees. Look, listen, I agree. Free speech is great. Free speech is great, but we also need to recognize that there's something called treason. So I mean, a lot of people think that freedom of speech should mean freedom from consequences, but I don't think that's true. Sure, freedom of speech, say whatever you want, but if the words you are saying amount to treason, there should be consequences for your action, right? So, I mean, let people say what they want to say, but then when they expose their true intentions, then you go after them, right? I think that's how it should be. Because like there should be consequences for promoting treason, there should be consequences for promoting terrorism. And it's also very interesting that the freedom of speech in Western liberal Judeo-Christian countries, you don't find this freedom of speech in their own countries, right? So all these like jihadis that come from like these third world countries, they don't have freedom of speech. They can't go around saying what they want to say in their own countries. They can only do it in Western Judeo-Christian countries. And they are basically taking advantage of the freedoms that modern civilized societies have enshrined to promote their 7th century Islamic jihadi ideology. Because when these countries, when these freedoms of expression were enshrined and indoctrinated, it was done with the understanding that, you are going to put your country first. But now when you have people who are immigrating into your countries and then they gain citizenship and they take the oath of citizenship, but for them, it's basically just, taqiyya, it's just lying, right? They're just basically gaining citizenship to take advantage of the country. They're not actually assimilating, they're not putting the country first. Yeah, I think there should be consequences for treason. I think there should be consequences for promoting Islamic terrorism. Raider, thank you so much for joining, Raider. I really do appreciate you being here. Thank you for the super sticker. Guys, if you don't know, Raider never comments. I never see Raider comment in the live stream, but Raider has been one of my biggest supporters. They always show up, and then they just, give me like this amazing super sticker, and I do appreciate it really much, Raider. And yeah, but I never hear from you. I just see the support, and means a lot to me. So thank you for that. All right, let's continue watching this. My sushi arrived. I'm gonna try to eat, but this part is just like, ugh, it's, yeah. I mean, it is true, right? It is true. Like everything he's saying is true. Like these are things we all know, right? So yeah. Okay. I guess we're not going because I have some more questions. Okay, I'll answer these questions, and then we'll continue the live stream. So, would you return to Iran if the Ayatollah and Islamist government dissolves? Will Iran prefer a democracy or to be ruled by the Shah? How much of religious fervor will go down if that wow, okay, loaded question. All right, guys. Okay. Let me okay. So, would I return to Iran? I don't know if I would return to Iran permanently to live there. But I would certainly go back and visit. And if there was an opportunity for me to use my lived experience in Canada to help rebuild my birth country, I would probably take it, because um it is a little bit frustrating for me that as a Canadian as a Canadian, my efforts to speak out about Islamic terrorism and radicalism in Canada, um, my efforts were rewarded with the National Council of Canadian Muslims accusing me of Islamophobia, and then Doug Ford kicked me out of the Progressive Conservative Party for lapses in judgment. So, I mean, given the level of political correctness in Canada, um, I don't see myself being involved in politics in Canada, um, because I'm considered an Islamophobe, even though all I've done is speak out against radical Islamism and, jihad in Canada. Because I literally, as someone with lived experience of Islamic terrorism and jihad, when I was an elected official in Canada, I felt like it was my duty and my responsibility to Canadians to warn you guys, okay, like, guys, like, pay attention. This is bad. This is a problem. This is a red flag. But because I was doing that, I was punished for raising awareness. And then what's the end result? Today in Canada, we hear the news about Canadian police foiling an Islamic terrorist attack that was being planned by 3 Muslim men. And the situation in Canada is so bad that um, the police, in their news report, right? In their news report, they did not even have the guts to call it Islamic terrorism. Instead, they called it hate motivated extremism, right? Which is just so stupid, right? They said hate motivated extremism is what was happening, because they're so afraid of being labeled as Islamophobic. So I don't think there's a political future for me in Canada, not as long as like this political correctness exists. Um, you know, there. So in that sense, like, if there was an opportunity for me to go back and contribute to rebuilding um, my birth country of Iran, yeah, I mean, I would consider it 100%. I would be more than happy to use my lived experience in Canada to help rebuild Iran and to help bring back the democracy that we used to have prior to 1979. Because I feel like um, I just feel like my efforts to raise awareness in Canada are not appreciated, right? Like I was raising awareness, and where did it get me? I was kicked out of my party for Islamophobia. So, little bit of issue there with that. Um, will Iran prefer? So the next part of your question: will Iran prefer a democracy or be ruled by the Shah? So this is what a lot of people don't know. Prior to 1979, Iran was actually a constitutional monarchy, just like Canada. So um, the Islamic terrorists and the jihadis and the communists, they like to say that the Shah was a dictator. That is the farthest thing from the truth. It's 100% a lie. The Shah was not a dictator. In fact, Iran was a constitutional monarchy similar to Canada. So the vast majority of Iranians actually want to go back to what Iran was, which was a constitutional monarchy, very similar to Canada. If you want to learn more about that, just look up the Persian Constitutional Revolution of 1906. Iran actually became a constitutional monarchy in 1906, and Iran had a democratically elected parliament as of 1906. So, um, you know, having a democracy and having a Shah, they're not mutually exclusive, right? Like even Canada right now, Canada has a king, but it's still a democracy. So that's what we had prior to 1979. The whole fake narrative about the Shah being a dictator, that's basically just communist and jihadi propaganda that's being pushed by the Islamists in order to justify why they took over Iran and turned it into a 7th century Islamic hellhole. Very similar by the way to how like everyone on the progressive left, you know how they attack Charlie Kirk, for example, God rest his soul. They say very terrible things about Charlie Kirk. They're trying to tarnish his image, tarnish his reputation, or even like some of the nasty things they say about President Trump. Um Again, it's the same bad actors, right? So they will try to demonize people in order to justify murdering them or getting rid of them or assassinating them, right? It's the same tactic that they have used for a very, very long time. So um like the current Shah of Iran, he's in exile. He has the support of somewhere between 80 to 90% of Iranians in occupied Iran. I've made videos about it. I'm more than happy to make more videos about that if you guys are interested. But yeah, so the last part of your question, in terms of where you say how much of religious fervor will go down if that happens, guys, Iran is already not a Muslim country. Like, less than 20% of Iranians are actually practicing Muslims or identify as Muslim. In 2023, the Islamic Republic reported that 50,000 of 75,000 mosques in Iran have been shut down. That's because Iranians, like, we're not Muslim. We're just not. I'm happy to make a video about it as well. It's been on my to-do list. It's just been like there's so many things that I need to do. But I will make a video about that because like Iranians, the religious fervor is gone. And unfortunately, the stuff that you see in the media, that's basically the propaganda that the Islamic Republic puts out there, right? So this is propaganda the Islamic Republic puts out there to make the rest of the world think that we Iranians are like Muslim or whatever. We're not Muslim. We're not, literally. Um, you should see some of the jokes that we have. Okay, so I see a lot of super chats, super comments. I will get to all of your questions and comments, but let me let me give you an example of Iranian humor. Okay, so I just posted this on my X account. Let me bring it up because like Iranian humor would be considered, Islamophobic. But like literally, like we Iranians don't care. Like, guys, this is just what I want to say. If you think that I am Islamophobic, you have no idea what Iranians are actually like. Like, I'm actually very PG-13. Like, I'm still trying to be politically correct when I convey information in English. You guys, so like non-Iranians, you are not yet ready or prepared to be exposed to the things that Iranians say about Islam in Farsi. Like, you're not there yet. I don't know if you will ever be there, but you're not there yet. And we're not going to go there, but I will give you a small preview. So this is a video. Okay, this is a video that is going viral. I'm actually going to make a short clip about this later too. But this is a video that has been going viral on non-Iranian social media accounts. And I'm not sure. I just want to, to the all the Iranians watching, I'm going to say this in Farsi. نمیدونم کدوم یکیتون این ویدیو رو گرفت و به زبان انگلیسی ترجمه کرد، ولی الان این ویدیو الان داره وایرال میشه به زبان انگلیسی. بعد همه دارن این ویدیو رو به من میفرستن و میگن گلسا این ویدیو چیه، معنی چیه، این واقعی نیست. So I don't know which one of you translated this, but it's really funny. So okay, so for all the non-Iranians, someone translated this video in English, and it's making the rounds on social media. So I'm gonna play it for you. You're gonna have to read the captions, okay? But I hope that this gives you a little bit of insight into Iranian humor. So here you go. So she says, "Excuse me, sir, can you turn off the music?" And then he says, "Turn off the music. Why?" So she says, well, because music is haram, right? Like, music is haram in Islam. This is a comedy sketch, by the way. So she's like, well, you have to turn off the radio because music is haram in Islam. And then he says, it's haram? Who said music is haram? And then she says, well, there wasn't music when Muhammad was alive, was there? And then he says, oh, there wasn't any music when Muhammad was alive? And then he says, okay, so get out of the car. And she says, why? Chera, why? Why should I get out of the car? He says, get out of the car. And when she says why, he's like, well, there were no cars when Muhammad was alive. So get out of the car and find a camel and get the camel to come take you where you need to go. All right. So I'll play that again without the interruptions, but read the captions. And yeah, there you go. So this is an example of Iranian humor. This is actually very, very PG. This is very PG compared to the kind of jokes that we actually have in Farsi. There you go. So there's an example of Iranian humor. I hope that answers the last part of your question about how much religious fervor will go down. Guys, religious fervor is like down. Like Iranians are done with religion. They're done with Islam. Interestingly enough, Christianity and Zoroastrianism are the two fastest growing religions in Iran right now. So there you go. All right. I hope that gave you a little bit of insight. Okay, I'm going to go to the rest of the super chats here because I do have a number of mentions here. So BB says, King Reza Pahlavi, thank you so much. Yes, we do want our Shah to return. We love the Shah. I'm a big fan of constitutional monarchy. I've made a lot of videos about it. I will continue to make videos about it, so stay tuned. Thank you for the support. It means a lot to me. Mr. Probate Lawyer, People do not truly understand what freedom of speech is in America. Freedom of speech is to prevent censorship from your government, not between private citizens. You are 100% right. And, like I went to law school. I was a lawyer for 5 years before I became a politician. And you're absolutely right. Like, I find it incredibly frustrating when people talk about how their freedom of speech is being banned. And it's like, no, no, no. The freedom of speech is a guarantee of freedom of speech against the government censorship, not against other people or private citizens. You're absolutely right. But this is how people who are uneducated and don't understand the law, they'll try to push their narrative, and then when you call it out, they're like freedom of speech. I'm like, but you're absolutely right. Like, there is no freedom of speech in a private setting. Freedom of speech is basically meant to protect your rights against government censorship. But yeah, people are taking advantage of that. All right, Mr. Probate Lawyer. I love, prefer, and want women, hence I am transphobic. You know what? You're 100% right. And that's what's really messed up. Like, I mean, I don't want to get too much into the trans stuff because my focus is more on Islamic terrorism. But yeah, like, I see these videos where it's like these, they're men, right? They're literally men. They're dressing up like women, and then they complain about other men being transphobic because they don't want to date a trans girl. Like, that's very weird to me. People's preferences on who they want to date, that's their choice. That's their preference. I mean, if you're a man and if you're delusional enough to, dress up, like put on like makeup and wear a dress, and you want to pretend you're a woman, fine. Like, you know what? I'm not going to judge you. I will respect your choice to dress up like a woman and put on makeup. I don't care. Not my business. I support that because I support freedom of expression. However, I also support the freedom and choice of people who choose not to date you because they don't want to participate in your delusion, right? So, like, for example, I am not attracted to women. So if there was a woman who was dressed up like a man, and if she wanted to date me, I would be like, no, thank you. I don't care what you identify as. Your biology is still a woman, and I'm not into women, right? So it's gone a little bit ridiculous where you have these woke progressives on the left who want freedom for everyone, but then at the same time, they criticize your freedom to choose who you want to date or who you don't want to date. And that's a very good example, Mr. Probate Lawyer. I appreciate that. Jeremy, you call Islam the religion of pieces. I mean, I'm not going to criticize that. Everyone has their opinion, and I mean, you are justified in your opinion. Yeah. I mean, it's certainly not the religion of peace. I'm going to put that out there. It's certainly not the religion of peace. Okay, Diablo del Fuego. Diablo del Fuego. Okay, sorry guys. Some of your names are a little challenging for me to pronounce here. Okay, so as an Indian, I feel deep sense of nafrat. We liberated Bangladesh from Pakistan in 1971. Please check Operation Searchlight. Yesterday, the same Bangladeshis lynched and immolated a Hindu. They cured COVID. Whatever. You know what? I did see the horrific videos on X about the Bangladeshis lynching a Hindu man. I have spoken in the past about how the radicals in Bangladesh are persecuting the Hindus. Um, Let me make a note here, and I'm more than happy to make a video to raise awareness about what's happening in India and Bangladesh, because it's horror. Like, the video is horrifying. It's absolutely horrifying. But those of us, like you and me and others who are victims of Islamic terrorism, we know exactly what these radicals are capable of, and it's just very frustrating that this is constantly happening, and yet and yet the mainstream media isn't talking about it because it doesn't fit the narrative, right? And again, our oppressors are the ones who are going out there and pretending that they are the victims. So, diabolical. Let me just make a note of this before I forget. Um, okay, so I made a note of that. I will definitely speak about that. And my condolences to the Hindu community. I know that this isn't the first time this has happened, and unfortunately, it won't be the last. But if I can use my channel and my platform to raise awareness about Islamic terrorism in Southeast Asia, I will 100% do that. I actually had the opportunity to visit India when I was an international trade lawyer about 15 years ago, and beautiful country, beautiful culture, beautiful religion. But what was really interesting is I noticed in certain parts there were armed guards because they were literally there to protect people from Islamic radicals. So, yeah, India has a huge problem as well with all these jihadis. Um, okay, so the next comment, Wolfie Conservative. Hi, Goldie. Does the good people of Iran know about Agenda 2030 New World Order? You'll own nothing and be happy. Lap meat, 15-minute cities. Oh yeah, like Iranians are familiar with that. I mean, what happened to Iran in 1979? I would say would be the precursor to the New World Order, and would be the precursor and sort of the test grounds for the communists and the globalists and the leftists trying to take over. And that's why we Iranians, we reject communism, we reject globalism, we reject Islamism. We all know that the UN is incredibly corrupt. They have been taken over by communists and Islamists, and the UN never actually speaks out against the Islamic radicals. Instead, they support them. So the UN is incredibly corrupt. Um, it's terrible. Mr. Probate Lawyer, that was my point. There's no longer dialogue. You are not Islamophobic. You just 100%. Like I'm not. I mean, I have a difference of opinion, and I'm completely entitled to my opinion. You're absolutely right on that. So thank you for the support. Appreciate that. And you say my point was that ignorant people will throw a general label simply not to you. Oh, 100%. You know what? My most famous, or sorry, my most favorite label that people throw at me when I speak about Islamic terrorism is they call me a racist, and I'm like, okay, um since when is Islam a race? Islam is an ideology. There are many different people from many different countries who are, um, Islamic terrorists. And so, how is it that I'm racist for speaking out against Islamic terrorism? But that's just the crazy world that we live in today. Um, Michael Feldman, dear Miss Goldie, you rock. But the Islamification of the West and America has been going on since the 1960s. Um, I mean, you're not wrong there. You're not wrong there, but it really started to pick up pace after 1979 when Jimmy Carter and the Democrats helped the Islamic dictatorship take over Iran. Um, yeah, it's a problem for sure. It's a problem for sure. Okay, I went through all of the super chats. Guys, thank you so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for your comments and your feedback. I really do appreciate that. We're now going to get back to our regularly scheduled program with Apostate Prophet and Charlie Kirk. And yeah, I'm here to answer your questions. And I really do appreciate the support, and I appreciate you sharing my live stream. And I will be paying attention to the live chat as we continue watching the interview between Apostate Prophet and Charlie Kirk. And guys, I promise you, I will bring Apostate Prophet on. I promise you. we do speak on WhatsApp, so like I do have his contact info. I will bring him on for sure because he is fantastic and I do have a lot of respect for him.
And living wife. So he has absolutely no need for this. He does it just because.
All right, let me go back a little bit because that was kind of a long intermission. I apologize. I kind of rambled on a bit. So let's go back a bit so that we can get ourselves reoriented on what we're talking about here.
Let's get back. So you're Christian. Let me just kind of go through a rapid fire, if that's okay.
Sure.
But let's first go through Islam 101. Is it true that they say Muhammad is the greatest man ever to live?
Yes.
Was Muhammad a warlord?
Yes.
How many people did he kill?
Personally or
approximation?
Lots.
Thousands.
Yeah.
How many was he responsible for? Tens of thousands of deaths?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it true that he married a 9-year-old named Aisha?
No, he actually married a 6-year-old.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
And
so 6-year-old.
Yes.
So we got to make sure we're very clear here. That there's no misinformation. So that would be pedophile.
Yeah. I actually, if I can pause there for a second.
No, please. And if I'm wrong, correct me. I'm not here to, I want the truth. I want our audience to have the truth.
No, I want to, I like to, as disgusting as it is, I would like to pause there for a second because when we talk about a 6-year-old being married, first off, it's not simply marrying a 6-year-old. It is the Prophet Muhammad, the most perfect figure for all mankind.
Key.
He is in his 50s and without any necessity at all, he picks and marries a 6-year-old little girl. And then when she's 9 years old, he then consummates the marriage in his mid-50s with her. And that's his third wife, and at that point, his second living wife. So he has absolutely no need for this. He does it just because.
So let's steel man this.
Okay, so Johnny, you need to see how the Russians handled the terrorist attack on a concert or music hall. Okay, I'll make a note of that, and I will look into that, and I will comment on that, and I'll share information about that. Yeah, there have been Islamic terrorist attacks all around the world, but thank you for that. I appreciate that.
If a Islamic cleric was right here, how would they defend that?
They would say a few things, such as those were different times. The response to that would be, okay, but isn't Muhammad supposed to be the perfect moral example for all mankind for all times, including right now? So it doesn't matter if it was a different time. Second defense would be that she transmitted a lot of accounts of things that he did and did not do. So it was actually a very good thing for him to marry her and be so intimate with her. But seriously? We are supposed to argue that this was the great divine plan.
Oh, so his legacy lived on, so that's why he raped a 9-year-old.
Yes,
got it.
yes.
What else would they say?
Some would say this is okay and there is nothing wrong with it because as soon as a girl shows signs of development, she is ready to breed.
Okay, do any of them say it's factually incorrect?
If they're serious, traditional Muslim scholars, they will not say that. If they are kind of reformists or modernists.
What would the reformists say? That she was allegorically 9?
They will say that, they will say stupid excuses such as that they started counting her age only after a certain time, or that there are different accounts, she might have been 10 or 8 or something else.
Yeah, that makes a huge difference.
A huge difference.
So Muhammad, the greatest man ever to live, the greatest example, was a warlord who married a 6-year-old, raped her when she was 9, and then kept multiple wives.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, the Bible also has plenty of stories of multiple wives and bad behavior. But this is so important. There's a difference between what the Bible describes and what the Bible prescribes. Description of behavior in the Bible does not mean prescription of the Bible. For example, Solomon having many wives is not prescribed to you. It actually ended really bad for him. He ended as a madman, actually. And Ecclesiastes is like one of the saddest books ever. He's like, meaningless, meaningless. All of life is meaningless. So
I love that book, though.
Isn't it beautiful? No, meaning it's sad in the beginning, and then all of a sudden he finds that meaning is God. And there is a season for everything. There's a season for suffering. There's a season for sorrow. There's a season for happiness. The point being, though, is that people would counter just for you here. Oh, but in the Christian Bible, and the kicker, guys, we never say Solomon is the greatest man ever to live.
Precisely.
This is the whole important thing. They hold Muhammad at a higher level than Christ our Lord.
Yes.
So and would you say this is one of the strongest arguments to cross-examine Islam?
Morally, yeah.
Okay. So let's just talk more about Muhammad. So they believe he went to heaven at some point, is that right, in Jerusalem?
So,
like on a horse or something?
Yeah, it's called the night journey. So they believe that he went, one night he was woken up by
heard of it.
the angel. And
Angel Gabriel, right?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's
Angel
new.
Gabriel. And
They could have used a different name.
He was put on the back of an animal that was bigger than a donkey and smaller than a horse, is what it says. And he was then taken by that donkey to the farthest mosque, as it says. And then from there, he was taken up to heaven, where he saw all the prophets. Then later on, he was taken also to hell, where he saw all the people. By the way, what he saw in hell is very interesting. He saw that the majority of hell dwellers were women. That's what he said to women. And he told them, this is because you people, you women, are ungrateful. So you have to be more obedient to me.
Oh, what a convenient theology for like thing like Jeffrey Epstein with a standing army. That's basically Muhammad, right? So, okay, I just want to make sure. So biographically, so this guy was a warlord, Bedouin tribes, fractured. He unites these Bedouin polytheistic tribes around polytheism. Who wrote the Quran, in your opinion?
So the Islamic narrative is that that the Quran is a word for word. This is also, by the way, a huge difference between the Bible and the Quran. The Quran is considered the word for word, verbatim, dictated word of Allah, the
Audible.
Creator. Yeah.
Right.
And he's supposed to have brought it through the words of Gabriel to Muhammad, who then recites it to the people around him, who then make notes of it. And after Muhammad dies, they decide to come together and turn all of this into one big book. That is the official account.
Okay, so we have an interesting question from Diablo del Fuege. And he says, what about moderate people like Imam Tawhidi or Majid Nawaz? How would you protect these few amicable Muslims while being a hawk about radicalism? The answer to your question is I don't protect them. I don't trust them. I don't like them. I think they're grifters. And it's not just me, it's the vast majority of Iranians don't trust them. These like at the end of the day, these moderates still believe that the perfect man in the world married a 6-year-old and consummated the marriage at the age of 9. And I mean, have you seen me defend them? I would. No. But that's a whole other conversation for another time. But I don't trust the Imam of Peace. I think it's fake. It's fake. I don't trust him. I don't like him. Never promote him. No. And he, you know what? He actually was invited to an event in Toronto, and as soon as he showed up, the rest of the Iranians started booing and jeering, and they were like, what the hell are you doing here? Get the hell out. And so he was literally like booed and jeered until he left. Like, do not talk to me about imams. You will never see me defend any of them. No. No. There's no way. There's no way. Anyways. I mean, again, like I don't like talking bad about people, which is why this is literally the first time that I'm speaking about, the so-called Imam of Peace. And the only reason is because you actually asked me about it. But I don't trust him. I don't like him. I think he's a grifter. And there's literally nothing about him that I find appealing or interesting. He's a liar. He's a liar. And I don't defend the moderates, especially not if they're Iranian, because the thing is, the Imam of Peace is Iranian, so he should be smart enough to understand that he's literally promoting the religion of the Arab Muslim invaders that colonized our ancestors. So, yeah, screw him.
Many Muslims are not even aware of this. They think Muhammad himself approved of it and oversaw the writing of it.
So, and isn't that a divide between Shia and Sunni of what Muhammad said and what he didn't say?
Yeah, in a way, yes.
So what is a hadith?
The hadith is the traditions attributed to Muhammad, things that he did and things that he said, as reported by his followers and their successors.
So Muhammad creates this religion.
Mm-hmm.
There are 5 pillars of Islam. Let me see if I can get them right, okay? Let me see if I can get them. Pray 5 times.
I mean, so I see a lot of non-Iranians who are commenting about Imam of Peace in the chat. I mean, I don't know. Like, all I can say is there's a reason that we Iranians don't like the Imam of Peace. We don't like anything about him. And you never see the Imam of Peace in an Iranian audience or speaking to Iranians. You only see the so-called Imam of Peace speaking to non-Iranians, right? Think about that. Try to find a video of the last time the Imam of Peace, who's Iranian, try to find the last time he was speaking in Farsi to like a group of Iranians and preaching whatever, nonsense he says in English, right? You will not find it. You only find the Imam of Peace speaking in English to non-Iranian audiences. Ask yourself why. That's all I'm going to say on that topic.
Times a day.
Yes.
Ramadan fasting.
Yes.
Hajj.
Yes.
Charity.
Yes.
And let me try to think of the last one. I'm pretty good at 4 though, right? That's not bad. What is the 5th?
The Shahada, which is the creed, where you say that.
Isn't that the prayer or no?
No, that's separate. So
Oh,
you have to say the Shahada to become part of the religion.
okay.
Which
So
means, I testify there is no God but Allah, and
got
Muhammad
it.
is the messenger
Okay.
of Allah. Yeah.
So those 5, none of those are like necessarily offensive except the Islamic one to us. So we don't have to spend too much time on that. Or is that the core of their faith, those 5 things?
You would say that those things are the ones that essentially make one a Muslim, but it doesn't stop there.
So then Muhammad dies, Islam grows.
Yeah.
And grows and grows and grows.
By the sword.
By the sword. This is important. So how did it grow? Did it grow through conversion and love, or did it grow through conquest?
This is actually one of the biggest differences between Christianity and Islam, which I think is a very important point to stand on here. So Christianity, we know, starts with Christ, God taking on flesh, becoming the lowest of us, becoming part of us and inviting us to him. It starts through suffering, and his followers spread it and tell people about it. They lose their lives on this path, and over centuries it develops through simply preaching and being persecuted. Islam starts very differently. Muhammad starts out there in Mecca, then goes to Medina and starts his Islamic state, from which he then begins raiding and attacking others, and from then on his successors, once he dies, take over that exact same attitude and start spreading Islam by attacking everyone left and right. And most of the Muslim territories in today's time are a result of violent conquests.
That's right.
Because there's actually a very good quote that I love to bring up by Ibn Khaldun, who was a medieval Muslim scholar, very much respected. And he wrote in a work called Muqaddimah, he wrote that the great difference between Judaism, Christianity, and Islam is that Islam is the only religion that has a truly universal mission, and the leader of Islam, the Caliph, is...
Hey, what happened? Oh.
supposed to be the one who is both the religious leader and also the military leader and the state leader, who has the duty to spread the religion by will or by force. This is Islam, and that's how it spreads.
Does it say in the Quran that you should take multiple wives?
It says you can take multiple wives.
Okay, but not that you should, but you can.
Yeah, you can. You cannot take up to 1, 2, 3, 4, like tomatoes. Like
Got it.
Yeah.
Is it true that it talks very poorly about women?
Yes.
How so?
Well, in chapter 4 is very funny. It's called...
In the Surah 4 or whatever?
Yeah, the Surah 4 is called Women. And some Muslims will say, look, it has a chapter called Women. It must be nice to women. Well, look into the chapter. So in verse 24 of it, it says that that Muslims may only have sex with those that they are married to and with those that they possess, which means with their sex slaves. So Islam directly allows sex slavery through war and also tells Muslims that they are allowed to have sex with them as they wish.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so someone said sushi, Goldie, it's December and you're Persian. Pomegranates are in season. All right. Let me be right back. One moment, guys. Since you're now commenting on pomegranates, hold on. Okay. Wait, let me here we go. So I literally have a pomegranate and I have figs in my fridge because I'm getting ready for chihele, right? So chile is the longest night of the year, the winter solstice. It's also referred to as Yalda, and for Chile, we eat pomegranates and figs and watermelon and things like that. So yes, I literally do have pomegranates and figs in my fridge, but I'm saving them for Sunday night, not for tonight. For tonight, I'm just eating sushi. So I see we have another starred comment here. Easy peasy. You watching the fight to what fight? What fight's happening tonight? I have no idea what fight is going on. Is there like a boxing match or something? No idea. But I don't know. I don't know if I'm watching the fight tonight. Let me know what fight it is. What time is it and where is it being played? Is this like a boxing thing? Jake Paul versus who? What fight is this? Is this like a bashing match or boxing match? Netflix? Wait, I do have Netflix. Wait, let me pull up my Netflix. Because I don't want to I mean, if this fight is like a big deal, I might as well just like end my live stream and we can oh, okay. Jake versus Joshua. Watch live started at 8 p.m. Okay. I mean, if the fight is starting, I can end my live stream and everyone can go watch the fight, and then I can continue my live stream tomorrow. Going to be over in 3 minutes. It's up to you guys. I mean, I'm not going to watch the fight. I'm not really into like boxing and stuff. To hell with the fight. Okay. Not interested. All right. Okay. We'll continue. Guys, we're doing the real fight here. The real fight is the fight against Islamic extremism and terrorism. So there you go. All right. Okay, we'll continue.
In verse 34, it then says that that Muslim women are to obey their husbands fully because he is superior.
Oh, so Johnny asks, how close is a new regime change in Iran back to you know what, we are getting there. It is pretty close. There's a lot of developments that are happening, so I'm actually very, very hopeful. I'm very hopeful for the future. We've never been closer than ever, so I will just leave it at that for now. But we're getting there, and the Islamic Republic is very, very weak, very weak.
If she disobeys, or no, if a husband fears arrogance from a woman, he is to admonish her, separate in beds, and if that doesn't help, he may beat her. And according to Muhammad's own companions, according to Muhammad's own child bride, Aisha, she said that she didn't see any other women who were suffering as much as the Muslim women. One day a woman comes in and her skin is greener than the green clothes that she's wearing. And she comes to complain about her husband, how much he's beating her. Muhammad ends up basically justifying the beating and saying that lots of women come to complain about their husbands and they are not the best women. And this is Islam's legacy. So the Quran directly allows Muslims to beat their wives and describes them as lesser beings. And you can still see this very much unfold and manifest in Muslim societies.
Is it true it says to convert or kill?
Yes, there is another option. So chapter 9, verse 29.
Tax, right?
Yeah. It says,
Which is that, what's the word you said?
Jizya.
Yeah.
It says directly there that those who don't accept Islam and those who don't believe in Allah and Muhammad, you are to fight them, specifically Jews and Christians and others, until they are humiliated and pay protection money. So you are to convert them or to make them pay protection money. If they don't pay protection money, you can kill them. That's it.
What are the other objectionable teachings that you think the West should know?
Aside from...
Are they allowed to lie in the name of Islam? That's a common thing I hear. I'm sure you've heard it.
That's a very complicated topic, but you could say yes, although it is sometimes misrepresented, because there is one aspect which is called taqiyya.
Yes, that's right.
So taqiyya allows Muslims normally, if they are in certain circumstances where telling people that they are Muslims would cause trouble, they are given the permission to lie about it. But that's not the only aspect where they are allowed to lie. So sometimes people think taqiyya means that they are all allowed to lie, but in general, without giving it a name, the Quran authorizes Muslims to simply speak half the truth, basically, in giving responses, and to always speak in whatever way Islam benefits. And Muslims are allowed by Muhammad to deceive the enemies of Islam. And enemies of Islam are all those that are not Muslims. So
Islam is rapidly taking over the West.
Yes.
Is that by accident or by design?
You could say that it is by design, but then we have to have a discussion about...
Who's the designer?
Yeah, who's the designer? What kind of designer?
Well, let me put it this way. Is the Muslim world thrilled they're taking over the West?
Yes, absolutely. When I was a child in Germany, when I was a teenager, I repeatedly heard that it's a fantastic thing that we are taking over, that our numbers are growing. And you could now say, okay, this is just something that you yourself heard, but it's not just me. Today, I still hear the same thing. In fact, this is the main reason why I decided to speak out, because after I left Islam, I had horrible deception and basically, oppression of my mind behind me. I wanted to get away from it, but I look into the world and I see people saying stuff like Islam is misunderstood. It's a religion of peace. It's not a religion of peace. It is not a religion that wants to coexist with you. We have today in the UK, in many other countries, we have Muslims preachers openly saying that the vision of Muslims should be to take over Western nations, that the numbers should be growing. There should be more politicians involved in the public, in the UK, in Canada, in Australia. Gladly, we are not at that stage in America, but we have to act quickly unless we want to also get into those situations, because it is a duty of Muslims to establish Islam as a governing force wherever they are, or to leave. They don't want to leave.
Do they believe in separation of mosque and state?
No, they don't. In fact, in Islam, it is actually considered haram, forbidden, to establish laws that are separate from whatever Allah has established. So it is considered forbidden, not allowed to have secularism.
So the growth of Islam in the West, do you think that Christians and Westerners adequately understand it?
No.
What, and we're short on time, I'm sorry, I could talk for 2 hours. What keeps you up at night or worries you most about this flavor and this ascendant force of Islam?
I also just want to point out the part where Reed Vaughn says that Islam does not want to coexist with other civilizations. He's not wrong. That's the truth. I mean, remember, before Islam was invented by Muhammad the warlord, the majority of the Middle East was Christian. And now the vast majority of the Middle East is Muslim. That's because there is no coexistence with Islam. But when we share that fact, even though it's a historical fact, right? Like, we're not making this up. This fact comes from 1400 years of Islamic terrorism and jihad and conquest, and of course the Arab Muslim colonizers colonizing and invading different people, different cultures, different civilizations. But when we talk about the fact that Islam cannot coexist with other ideologies or other civilizations, we're accused of Islamophobia, right? Even though we are literally those who are victims of Islamic colonialism and Islamic conquest. So I just want to point that out. Like, what he says is 100% accurate, but it's politically incorrect to share the truth, right? Because of how these Muslim lobby groups have basically controlled the narrative. Easy Peasy says, was told Takia is only a 12er Shia thing. Unsure if true. Keep well. And no, Takia is not only a 12er Shia thing. It's for everyone. They all do it. If someone told you that Takia is only a 12er Shia thing, they were using Takia to lie to you. Like, that's what it is.
The most important thing is the ignorance of the non-Muslims, of those that we have among us. We have lots of people speaking. We have lots of people speaking online. We have lots of people speaking about all kinds of things. I think.
Diablo, please check out Durandar movie. Gulf countries have suppressed this movie, calling it anti-Pakistani. It shows reality of terror hubs. Ooh. Okay, is this like a movie or a documentary? Because maybe I'll be able to play it and live stream it. Durand Har movie that is claimed to be Pakistani. Okay, I will look into that movie because that's interesting, and a lot of people don't know about the amount of Islamic extremism and terrorism that happens in South Asia. And guys, like, I just want to also point out, people talk about the two-state solution, the two-state solution in Israel. Pakistan was literally the two-state solution. So when the British divided India into India and Pakistan, they literally did that because the Muslim Hindus were complaining about how they need their own state. So Pakistan is literally an ethno state, right? Pakistan is an ethno state. And that was the original two-state solution because the Pakistani Muslims were saying that they need their own state because, the Hindus are never going to give them equality. So they got their fake country in 1947, I believe. Like, Pakistan was basically created 1 year before Israel, right? And so the Pakistani Muslims got their fake country And yet, ever since then, they have still been trying to invade India and take more. So, you want to learn about the two-state solution? Go look up the history of Pakistan, literally one of the fakest countries in the world. It's made up of like Indian Muslims who've basically forgotten their roots, right? Because all the Pakistani Muslims were conquered by the Arab Muslim invaders, and they just basically forgot they forgot their identity. So now they all think they're Muslim. And Pakistan was created because they were complaining about, the evil, mean Hindus. But ever since Pakistan was created, the Islamic terrorist attacks have not stopped. In fact, they have continued, and now they're trying to take even more land from India. So, yeah, a lot of people don't know that. They're like people will go after Israel, but they completely forget about Pakistan and how and why Pakistan came into existence in the first place. I will look up that movie and I'll see if it's publicly available, and maybe we can live stream that at some point, and people can learn about all the Islamic terrorism that happens in Southeast Asia.
There are some people who like us to talk about different political entities or different states, how they are trying to subvert us and so on. I think the biggest subverter of Western societies, of free nations, is Islam, and we need to be talking about it. I think the most disturbing thing about all of this is that we have Muslim communities in Michigan, in Minnesota, in Texas even
Yes,
now,
Epic City.
and elsewhere, that openly speak of spreading Islam and making this, and they say, of course, we don't want to offend anybody, we don't want to make it look like we are subverting people, we just want to peacefully spread it and grow and take over. But if you allow enough power to be taken by those who want to establish Islam as governing force, you will very, very quickly lose control, because they will not allow you to take it back. They will want to impose it.
Do you think Islam is compatible with Western civilization?
Absolutely not.
So I said that, I don't know if you saw that, got 75 million views on my tweet. People thought, oh, that's great. Prove my point for me.
Western civilization was formed and shaped by philosophers and by Christianity. Islam is anti-Christianity. Islam orders the subjugation and the destruction and eventual eradication and elimination of Christianity. It orders the destruction of secular societies. We have freedom in the West, something that we value so much at this conference in America.
Yes.
We have freedom. We love freedom. Islam is anti-freedom. One very little trivia about me. I have Turkish citizenship. I lived in Turkey for a while. Right now,
Sorry, to the people asking me if Iranians eat with chopsticks, the answer is no. I'm eating with chopsticks because I'm eating sushi. So that's why I have chopsticks. But no, we don't, Iranians don't, we don't use chopsticks when we're eating Persian food. We use a spoon and a fork.
it's very difficult for me to get back into Turkey, because despite Turkey being a secular country on
And
paper,
part of NATO.
yeah, I have multiple lawsuits against me by the Turkish government because I dared to say things like, quote, the Quran is a book of ignorance. For that, they are suing me. The Turkish government, I can't go back there. There is no freedom. There is no free speech. If you give the power, you will lose everything.
And so, just really quick to capstone that, Islam being incompatible with Western civilization, but they'll say there's peaceful Muslims, and what would you say is what should the Western approach to Islam be?
First off, realize what you're dealing with. Realize that it is not simply a religion. Acknowledge that it is incompatible with your societies, and then begin to directly address it, and make sure that you do not allow them to take advantage of your well-meaning attitude and your liberal policies of immigration, for example. If you see Islam spreading and political Islam spreading, remove it. Make policies about it. Get rid of it. Kick it out before it's too late. And so here's the thing. This might be a little bit controversial, but the freedoms that we have in the West, they were established. The values that we have in the West were established. Even America was founded by people who had in mind that these are values that unite us. these people that, I mean, I find it very difficult to even include myself, but I will include myself as an American today. So these are these nations are founded in order to have people like us with our values to live
Yes.
together. That's why we have freedom, because we cherish it, we value it, we can do it. They weren't meant to be offered to every single anti-freedom group that comes
That's
in
right.
and wants to abolish it and abuse it in order to oppress you.
How do you get treated by Muslims?
I usually get the death penalty by in Islam.
Do you get a lot of death threats?
Yes, lots of them.
What do they say to you?
I will behead you. I will rape your family. I will.
This
rape
is the religion of peace?
Yes, it's very peaceful. Well, once they kill you, it's all peaceful, you know. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
So your whole, to close it out, your name is Apostate Prophet.
Yes.
Do you speak Arabic?
I do not.
Turkish?
I study it. Yes. Yes.
Okay. So, but you know the original text well enough.
Yeah, I've studied it many years. Yeah.
So that's why you're so dangerous.
Yes.
And you have a big platform, and you know it, you know this stuff well. And they can't argue, because with me, they're like, oh, that's not what it really says, it's context dependent. And honestly, I kind of have a soft spot because there's so much biblical butchery with context stuff, so I'm like really careful with that, you know what I mean?
Understand.
I'm like a very big context guy, because some people say, oh, the Bible's terrible because of something in Leviticus 19. I'm like, okay, how much time do you have? But what you are saying this even with context.
Yes.
You're saying commands you to, does it command you to kill Jews?
Yeah. In the long term, yeah. It commands them to oppress Jews, and that eventually Muslims will kill the Jews. You are supposed to wait for it.
How can people support you? I think you're a man of great courage. I mean, this is a big fight. You're up against the great menace, and it's growing. Islamism is growing.
It is, unfortunately. Thank you so much, first of all, for offering this.
No, I saw him. You were on some interview. Who were you on?
Matt Fred.
Yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm supposed to go on his show. You guys know Matt Fred, Pints with Aquinas?
Yeah. He's
a
awesome.
really smart
He's
guy.
Awesome.
And I listened to like 10 minutes of you on him, and I texted my team. I said, I don't know who this guy is, but he's amazing, because I have really started, as you know, speaking more and more about Islam.
Thank you for doing that.
And I'm hated.
Oh, easy peasy. You were an elected official during a pretty interesting time in Ontario politics. Any tea in your book? Last super chat, I swear. I have a lot of tea, especially since I was a politician during COVID. But I'm not going to spill any tea because I do take my, oaths of confidence and oaths of secrecy very, very seriously. So I'm not going to spill anything because that's like if I was going to share information after share information that was like given to me in confidence, that would be more of I guess a tell on my character and my reputation, right? So I've always prided myself on someone who is true to their word and someone that people can trust to share things in confidence. So I'm not going to share anything because regardless of what Doug Ford did to me, I'm a much better person than that. I'm a much bigger person than that. And even though there's a lot of tea that I could spill, I'm much better than that. And so I'm not gonna share anything because that would just negatively impact my reputation as someone who can be told things in confidence. So there you go. Sorry, I'm sure that wasn't the answer you wanted, but yeah, it's just I'm not the kind of person who just goes around leaking things when I'm not supposed to. Yeah, sorry about that.
For 900 different things. I have real jihadis and purple-haired jihadis. I have both. They both hate me. But I said, I've been looking for you because you can educate me, and also you can kind of do some of the grunt work. I don't speak Turkish or Arabic. I don't have time to study the Quran. I don't want to study that crap. I know it enough. And so I think really really sincerely, your voice is incredibly important.
I really appreciate that, and I thank you so much. And I think that this should be a beginning. We should start talking about this matter very seriously.
Yes.
And should speak up more and more from here on, because this is a very crucial topic.
We don't have time for questions, but if you're okay, would you?
Oh, I was just gonna say, no need to apologize. It's a fair question. To be honest, I get asked that question all the time, so no need to apologize. It's totally fine, totally fine. I get asked to spill the beans all the time, to spill the tea all the time. So maybe one day, I don't know, when I'm on my deathbed, I'll say something. But for now, I'm not going to say anything.
Stay around and just hang with some people?
Sure,
No.
yes.
Well, God bless you. It's the Apostate Prophet. God bless you guys. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, that was the end of the second video. I just wanted to thank you all for joining me. Thank you for all the super chats. Thank you for the mods. The mods, you guys were working extra hard tonight. For some reason, there was a lot of like jihadis and a lot of trolls in the comments here, which is very surprising to me. But thank you everyone for joining. Thank you to all the members, the subscribers. Thank you everyone for helping me spread the word. I hope you enjoyed the live stream. I do appreciate all of your comments, and all of your super chats means a lot to me. And thank you for helping me grow my channel. Thank you for helping me to spread the word. Like I said, I'm just getting started, and you are going to be seeing a lot more of me. Wolfie says, are we in the end times? It talks about a religion sweeping the world. I assume that's Islam. How do we win? Jesus Christ is king. I mean, we could be. I mean, I don't know. Again, my focus is more practical, in terms of, I'm here to raise awareness about Islamic terrorism and jihad. I mean, so I don't really focus too much on the religious or theological side of things, but I mean, that is a valid concern to have, I guess. And I mean, who knows, but we're gonna keep on going. And my role really is to raise awareness about the threat of radical Islam and jihad and Islamic terrorism, and also to point out how Western civilization is pretty much is contributing to its own demise by being politically correct and allowing people who are fundamentally incompatible with Western civilization into their countries. So there you go. I don't normally do live streams over the weekend, and I do have a busy weekend planned. So the next time you'll see me doing a live stream will be Monday at 12 noon Eastern for my usual daily show. Although I will try to put out some shorter videos tomorrow and Sunday if I can. Until then, I wish you all a happy weekend. Shabbat Shalom, Happy Hanukkah, Merry Christmas, all the best in the new year. And to all my Iranian friends and supporters and followers, as always, Payande Iran. Wait, let me get this fixed here. So as always, to my Iranian friends, followers, and supporters, Payande Iran, Javid Shah.